Okay, let's get started. Again, thank you everyone for coming to today's webinar on how to improve sales productivity and quality control with noCRM.io and Aircall. My name is Shireen Zaire and I work for noCRM.io. I'm the country manager for the US and Canada, and I will be running today's webinar. Brian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey, Shireen. Hey, everybody. My name is Brian Elsesser. I'm the Senior Director of Sales Development here at Aircall, and I oversee all of our sales development of channels and everything that goes into engaging our new customers.
Great. Okay, so on today's agenda, we'll be starting with introducing noCRM.io, then we'll introduce Aircall, and then we'll cover the 3 topics that we have for the use case, then a Q&A and next steps with this integration. So first, a little bit about noCRM.io. We are a lead management software that's focused on sales teams. We're created for the sales team. And one of our core focuses is our simplicity and our efficiency and our onboarding. We have a very easy onboarding process, easy to set up. We also support more than 900 salespeople around over 80 countries. And we're available in 7 languages, which includes English. And we have a iOS or Android mobile app. So lead management software for salespeople, we have complete visibility for managers on a high and granular level. We also have sales rep accountability with activities and status features, which allows sales rep to know what to do next. We allow for customizable features such as activities, pipeline, and a lot more that you can see on our platform. And again, we're an anti-CRM. We were created to help the sales team. We have a complete focus on helping sales rep manage their leads. Lead management for salespeople. So we allow for the qualification of cold prospect and managing them in the lead pipeline. We also eliminate heavy data entry by allowing easy creation of leads from different sources. We have team collaborations, so you can create teams and have different levels of permission. And we have API integration, similar to this one on Aircall. So we help integrate with different software, and we have a support system for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so much synergy and everything that is going on with noCRM and over at Aircall. Aircall is also a very easy to set up cloud-based phone system. So I'll give it a quick intro. We're 100% cloud-based phone system, and we're really helping built to support teams that are trying to scale in a very fast way. Currently, we are based in New York City. We also have an office in Paris as well. We have over 175 employees, just about the company. We also have plenty of venture funding. That venture funding is helping us innovate and grow our platform. We've been taking some really great strides in doing that as well. And then on top of it, up to today, we've powered over 100 million calls through our platform. So if we go through it, 3 things really to take away from Aircall. It's an intuitive system, it's integrated, and it's reliable. And here's how that means. So first off, it's really easy to set up, right? Like in a matter of minutes, you're up and running with your team. You can build out trees, you can call trees, you can build out your metrics, and you can see pretty much everything you need in one place very, very quickly. So we'll go through that more soon. Outside of that, we have a really beautiful intuitive UI. So if you our user interface, you take a look at what it looks like. We have an app that's really easy for all of your teams to use and pop on and get onto their calls. On top of that, we have a really awesome little dashboard. You can see everything. It's so user friendly. In a matter of minutes, you can be up and running and kind of understand what's going on. And then within very short time get really dangerous. And on top of that, we're connected to all your tools. Probably the biggest takeaway for Aircall is that you have sales tools and you want them to talk to your phone. Well, we're a phone that wants to talk to your sales tools. And so each week we're producing new integrations with new tools and new CRMs that are out there. Just like noCRM, we have this really great little synergy going on between our 2 platforms. And on top of it, we have really great proven call quality, which ultimately, when you're making phone calls, probably nothing else probably matters more is your call quality. So to have that, that's really, that's key. Yeah, so that's the introduction there. In terms of the back and forth, is this next slide, Shireen? Is this for both of us here? Or you want me to pop through it?
So you have this slide here, and then
Yep. So the way in which we integrate Aircall, noCRM, it's this really easy integration. So there's no first off, for Aircall, no hardware needed, right? If you have the days of the old plastic desk phone are gone. So if you're actually calling into this right now from one, I'm waiting for your call. Give me a call. We want to help you. Second, we're really flexible, meaning like you can access this from anywhere. And on top of that, like phone numbers, provisioning phone numbers, getting set up. It's so super simple. It's like a click of a mouse. We're global. So if you have global teams, you have global reps that are running around the world, we're here to help you in that front as well. We have teams in EMEA to help. We have teams here that can help. So that's definitely up and running. And like I said earlier, we can be up and running with your team in less than 5 minutes.
Great, thank you for that introduction. So now let's get started on a couple of points that we wanted to focus on how this is going to help you with your sales, help you with your productivity. The first topic is fast selling your way to outbound success. So in most cases, outbound sales is a numbers game. That doesn't mean that your sales rep shouldn't be sending non-personalized emails or making uneducated calls. Having tools that allow you to boost those numbers is key in this case. So noCRM's prospecting list allows you to upload your unqualified contact list so you can process them before adding them into your clean sales pipeline. For those who have used noCRM, you should know that how easy to use our prospecting list. So you can shift through them easily with the prospect browser, which will significantly improve the speed of your call. And when you click on a button, you can move on to the next contact. The prospect browser also allows you to instantaneously detect any duplicates, launch LinkedIn, Google searches, and add vital details to the prospect summary section. So once you have researched your list of your prospect and you begin making calls, you can start the qualification process. So this is when Aircall comes into this whole scenario.
Yeah.
So once you integrate Aircall, the soft phone allows you to dial prospects directly from your noCRM account and records each conversation. We'll do a little demo after this so I can show you visually how it shows. But so you call, you have your conversation directly within the app. You don't have to go into a different system. It's really easy. And then once you're done with that, in the comment section, you'll have a recording of your conversation and a timestamp and a link. So no manual entry and no waste of time. Brian, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I mean, like, and on top of that, with dialing, one of the big, so I'm an SDR leader, right? And I have a team of people that are dialing daily, and it's that, I don't know if anybody other sales leaders on this call have this issue, but sometimes that phone, in this case, the virtual phone could weigh 1,000 pounds. It doesn't even exist, and it weighs 1,000 pounds. So one thing that we have also with our dialer is an auto dialer feature that really tends to help a lot of salespeople get through that kind of that clutter, and that helps you get through, and especially with the pre-qualified prospects, gets you through more qualified prospects quicker.
Yeah, for sure. Can I ask you a question, Brian, about like what you know? So like we were wondering what common mistakes sales rep would make when they're qualifying prospects, which is exactly the step. If there's any mistakes from calling and cold calling prospects you would have an experience in?
I love that question. Yeah. And it's actually one that's probably the most common and prevalent, especially for early sellers or people that are maybe just are getting into old practices. We, as salespeople, it's this crazy thing, but we love to talk about ourselves and we love to talk about our products. And sometimes we forget that we have to talk about our prospects. And so I would encourage you as your and your teams, as you're using a dialer, as you're getting on the phone, even though you're probably used to talking about your pitch or trying to get down what the value story is that you're trying to put in front of your prospect, engage them and ask them about why they're on the phone. Ensure that they are the right person for the call before you even start pitching them. And that's going to help elevate and just drastically change the quality and the outcomes that you're going to have from your calls.
Great answer. I like that one. Okay, so the next point that we want to have is how to like boost the quality of your conversation for higher conversion. So one of the ways to improve sales conversion is by engaging with leads in conversations that actually add value. There's nothing worse than jumping on a call with a potential customer and not knowing where you last left off or what you need to say next. Continuity here is important to keep your leads engaged. The sales rep must know the historical exchanges that happened before with the last conversation or meeting and how to go from there and how to increase marginal gains. So with noCRM's lead cards, it's pretty much like adding and viewing comments on any social media platform. It's fast to enter the information and easy to track previous exchanges. Again, I'll show you how this goes when we'll do a little demo. You'll see how easy it is to do and how quick it is to have access to all the historical data, last conversation, and how to move on from there and build value. So our integration with the Aircall further supports reps by allowing them to call your leads in one click with noCRM from previous notes for reference. Enter call details. If you want to add more from the conversation, you can also add them there. And once the call is complete, again, the recording duration and number dialed are automatically added. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Honestly, I think that's probably, this is one of the things that, funny enough, sometimes you have salespeople that just don't, they're really nervous or they don't want to share a call, but this feature has really empowered my team. So they've really embraced it and they embrace it daily. We have a daily warm up. By the way, quick tip for you guys out there, don't warm up your cold calls on your prospects, warm up on them on people that they know. So like do a morning meeting and get the phones talking and get the words coming out of the mouth, at least among themselves, so that they're not warming up on their prospects. But back to that, so my team gets together in the morning and they love to share calls that they've had, and it's so, Aircall makes it so easy to quickly go and pull that recording. So I think that's a huge piece of this value prop that you have with noCRM, is that you have these recordings. They're all captured. As a sales manager, you have the ability to pop in and check in on the calls and see how your pitches are going. But on top of that, you know, you can share them aloud as a team as well, and teams embrace this.
Great. I also have another question on this one. So
Yeah.
here we're calling, the whole point is to follow up with your leads via call, but is there for you the right mix of channels or touch points that should be productive for a sales rep?
Yes. So phone call obviously is not the only place you want to be reaching out, right? It's actually a healthy mix, and if you can do it right, it works. I remember, it's funny how this changes and how rapidly it changes. About a year ago, this idea of like e-gifting never happened, and then all of a sudden you see companies like Sendozo and banks, and they're all coming out with these, you know, e-gift platforms. And it's funny is that that's actually now become a channel, as well as like a video feature from like a Vidyard or an email or a social interaction on LinkedIn. And what we find is it's a healthy mix of all, because it's not that you're always going to engage someone on a gift, or you're going to engage with someone because you had a handwritten note sent to them. It's because you're constantly hitting them at different touch points that's making them think of you at a time when they could potentially reach back out. So don't think that if you didn't get them on the phone that it's like it just wasn't working. One other thing on this, Shireen, I should add, is that make sure you have the right number of touches in your cadences, guys. Like, we're talking, like, if you have less than 10 in your initial outbound cadence, rethink your cadence. The average salesperson quits after 4.8 touches. So if you're going to quit after that, and we know for a fact that a prospect picks up and engages after 7, it's actually like 7.5 touches is when they re-engage. I don't necessarily know what a half touch is, but regardless, make sure you have the appropriate number of touches built in your cadence to engage your prospects.
Great point. Even I'm learning something new. Okay, let's move forward to the next one. So sales training with the right tools. So how to coach your team with the right tools and metrics. This is a really interesting one to me. So sales training is not only important when you're onboarding newcomers, but also important to consistently improve your entire sales team. So for newcomers, it's essential for managers to present the first few calls, to be present in the first few calls, sorry. So this is to ensure the quality of their pitch, presentation, and communication skills. So pretty common, you should always be there as a manager. So Aircall's live feed feature makes that much more easier and allows managers to have the option to join in to a live call, either announce the guest or incognito, which incognito mode, managers can jump in the reps call without the added stress, which could be stressful to a lot of new oncomers. And then also if the manager can't come because their schedules don't match, managers can go play back any calls from noCRM to coach their sales reps later on in the process. Also, consistent coaching is essential for the ones that are still there. They're not new, but they need consistent improvement to maintain and increase sales team success. So noCRM's custom activities and outcome provides concrete metrics on how many successful calls were made. Again, I'll show you this in a bit, but you'll see on like each activity that was performed by who, and the information that was attached to it if they leave any comment, and the reasons for losing a lead. And this data enables sales managers to narrow down those leads and figure out what happened in the process. Once they have all this information that they need, they can work towards the winning formula and resolve common challenges in the sales reps process. So with Aircall, together we offer the strong integration solution that helps to improve business growth. So here we actually I have a really good question for you, Brian, and I think this is where you can elaborate. And since you know a lot more about training sales team, what kind of KPIs do you look for or important metrics that is like helpful for you for your sales team productivity?
Yeah, I love that. Before I dived right into KPIs, one thing to keep in mind is that the feature mentioned a minute ago about an incognito mode listen or whisper feature, that's like super helpful for sales leaders, especially for people that are on the phone. Like you want to talk about improving KPIs, which we'll talk about the KPIs in a second. Like that's going to help because many times that one little feature will help, remove a pitfall of a conversation that might take the conversation in a complete lateral move. So that's really important. But let's talk about the KPIs. It's a straightforward inputs equals outputs. I'll put this out there. If I go and I make a ton of phone calls, right, and I make a ton of emails and a ton of social interactions, and I'm logging them all in my CRM, okay, and then I'm getting like no conversions, well, the quality of your input needs to improve. And so you need to have a way in which you can go and reach into that input and see why that quality is missing or lacking. Same thing vice versa. If you have a high number of inputs and they're converting, you need to learn why they're converting so you can help scale up the rest of your team. Something that I look at for my team is about 80 to 120 touches a day. A touch can be a research touch. It can be a phone call, an email, a social interaction. It doesn't matter as long as they're doing the touch and they're logging. And so that's really important. The other thing I'm looking at is conversion. I want to see a healthy conversion. And that healthy is going to depend on your business model. Okay, so best way to find conversion is take a look at some of your best reps, some people that are really high performers, and try to milk out the number of companies they're touching or prospects they're touching versus the number of appointments that they're booking, and then simultaneously the number of appointments that they're booking and how they're converting to your sale. And those two conversion metrics from a call or touch to appointment and then appointment to sale is going to be exactly where you're going to find how you can fine tune your process.
Okay, great. I like that answer. Now we'll follow up with the demo. So I'm going to switch my screen for 1 second. Just give me. I'm going to do a quick demo. It won't be too intense. Okay. So what you see here is our lead card. This is noCRM's platform. This is the lead card that you see. I have just an example ready to go. So this is Linda right here. And let's say that I do want to call her. I would just as easily just click right here on this little icon. This is Aircall's logo, and it opens up a pop-up. It's integrated within our system, which means you don't have to launch another app. It just kind of opens up easily. You're allowed to be able to call here. And then once you're done with that conversation, it'll end the call. And here you can add a few comments like I was mentioning earlier. And obviously if it was picked up, you would say answered. And once that's done, it leaves it right here. So as you can see, you have the number that I called, the length of the recording and the timestamp, time and date that we have here. And if I click on this, it will download the conversation and I'll be able to listen back on what I spoke about. Also, I mentioned activities that help for the metrics. Here's are the activities that you can log in. Following the conversation, you can also add more comments later on. And I'm going to go back to the presentation. Actually, I think I can do it from here. Okay.
Boom.
Now we're ready for any question. If anyone has one, feel free to ask. Also, if you are typing it up, just raise your hand and I'll make sure to wait for you to finish that question. I have one question coming in right now. We have two teams in Europe and the US. I was wondering if noCRM and Aircall could be used with the two different languages. In our case, yes, noCRM, you are able to change languages depending on the teams that you're on and the user level as well. And then for Aircall, I believe you can do the same. Can you elaborate on that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to speak in different languages for sure, but on top of that, you're going to be able to provision numbers for the different countries as well. We're built to support different languages. Our website's built that way as well.
Okay, great. Any more questions coming in? Just let me know. I'm going to move forward, but we can definitely answer questions if you come up with them as we move forward. I'm just going to finish off with, so if you want to know more about what's going on, you can obviously discuss this with me at the email address right here. I'm going to be sending out an email with the contact for Aircall if you also want to know more information about Aircall. For everyone that showed up today, I will be sending over this deck. So you will have the link of the 30-day trial option for noCRM and the discount available. Since we're partners, we both offer an Aircall discount when you're a noCRM customer, 25% discount the first 3 months. And you'd have to email me for that information, for that discount.
Boom.
Boom. I don't see any questions coming in, which I'm going to take as we did a really good job on covering everything. But if there is questions that you come up with later, you have my email address right here. noCRM has a live chat. Aircall has a live chat. So you could contact either of us and get more information on how to use the integration.
Yeah, but my team's actually manning that live chat right now. So feel free to pop on there. If you have any questions, they'll be happy to answer.
Great. Again, thank you everyone for showing up, and I'll be sending over this deck. And thank you for Brian too for coming for today's webinar.
Shireen, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was great. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.